Hello, everyone. This is Natalie Pace, and this is day 17. And today's mantra is intergenerational wealth. Remember, this is 21 days to a healthier, wealthier, more beautiful you. And we are now at the point where we've tossed out a lot of our baggage. We are starting to embrace this new way of thinking as a creator of our world instead of someone who's always like maybe put upon or not able to control what's happening in their world. And in this third week, it is inviting partners in. So intergenerational wealth is a key part of that. And I want to show you a slide that I hope kind of embodies it, just something to think about. I do want you throughout today to be thinking, okay, well, you might be saying, what is intergenerational wealth? And what I want you to do when you think of this phrase is include your parents, your kids. We've heard Native American aphorisms that they want people to be thinking 3 generations ahead. So that's the kind of thing, is to have that kind of vision. Like, how many of us are thinking even 10 years where we are from right now? We've talked about this before, but now beyond of where we're going to be in 10 years is the power of embracing 3 generations of family instead of every single person or every single nuclear family unit going it alone. So I want to give you a couple of slides to look at, to think about. So the first one is this, is that a lot of middle-class families, and especially in younger countries like the United States, are not realizing the power of holding and retaining wealth. So what we see is that people that are homeowners are worth a lot more than people who are not. But as that slide just showed you, a lot of very wealthy kids are not buying high. They're not buying their first home right now. So, the Prince of Wales and the Princess of Wales, so the heir to the throne of the king, they did not purchase any of the homes that they live in. They are, for a long time, they were living in Kensington Palace that was owned by their grandmother. So you might say, well, I'm not that wealthy. This doesn't apply to me. But what we want to start doing in order to create wealth and mass wealth, stop making everybody else rich, it's all of this, right? If we are letting every generation of our family make the bank and the landlord rich, that is familial money that is flying out the window. A lot of rich people, if their kids are living in one of their homes, that means money that's not flying, family money that's not flying out of the window. That's resources that the family can then use. I'm going to show you another one. And the statistic on this one, which I might have already told you, is that multi-generational households are there's more today than there was in the Great Depression. So remember that partnerships allow us to solve bigger issues, to keep the money in the family, to stop making the landlord rich. Some people might say, I'm just not close to my family. Well, we've talked about, and, it's in the common, vernacular, that we can create our own family too. So as an example, when I was a young single mom, I lived in a different space than most of my family. Most of my family was from Arizona. I lived in Santa Monica. And so I really wanted to raise my son there, but we needed to be in a different neighborhood. So I teamed up with another young single mom, and we got a much bigger place for about 65% of the cost. We also saved on childcare and food costs. So thinking bigger and bringing in partners. I would, for the most part, I've been telling you, I want you to think about these mantras. And then when you're finished, go back and do the gratitude game, which is going to include an action plan. But I would like for you to do one action today. I would like for you to write down how much that you spend on housing and how big a piece of your budget is that expenditure. So statistically, a lot of people that are under the age of 40 or even 45 are spending 30 to 50% of their income on housing, right? That's a lot of money flying out the window, especially if it's rent. Now, people might say, oh, well, I'm putting it towards my own home equity. But remember that you can only build equity if house prices continue going up, and they might. But they can also go down, and we have seen that in the Great Recession and the dot-com recession. Or they can go down, for you personally, just because you bought a bigger home than you can afford, or you lose a job. So write down your costs of your home, and it's going to include not just your mortgage, right? What is the cost that you're spending also? Utility bills. What's the cost of any sort of maintenance, plumbers, etc., or gardening costs? Write it all down. And then do a guesstimate of what your parents might be spending. Or if you have kids in college, what your kids might be spending. Or if you have adult children, that's a lot of money that could be in the family. And is there a way to rethink things so that it stays more in the family? So today, as you're going through and as you're doing your mantra, intergenerational wealth, let that spark ideas. Keep a journal handy or something handy where you can just have that open-ended question. What is the way that I can change housing, transportation, whatever it is that you think, even a small change, to keep more money in the family, that intergenerational wealth, and stop making others rich. Now, if you're a multimillionaire, you're also going to be thinking, I want to stop making the tax man rich, right? So they use donor advised funds. They're using grantor retained annuity trusts. They're using foundations. If you're at that multimillionaire level, chances are you already know about these things. If you're not, then there are ways even where you are, especially if you're a business owner and you have a business that's worth a lot, where you could start thinking about right now, under the gift tax level, starting that process. That's what rich people do, so that by the time that the asset transfers to the younger generation, there hasn't been a boatload of money paid to the tax man. So I'm not asking you to do research on all of these vehicles. What I'm asking you to do is to allow yourself to think about how much money in the 3 generations of family is going out to make billionaires rich? And is there a creative way where the family can become rich instead? That's what really rich people do. They have a lot of tools, legal, many of which are available to those of us that are not as rich as billionaires. And this process of accessing those tools and using them properly begins with us thinking bigger than just our little nuclear family. So intergenerational wealth, and I'll see you tomorrow. Again, Natalie Pace, share this with your friends. I do this video coaching update every year and it's free. youtube.com/Natalie Pace, nataliepace.com. Also follow me on Instagram for daily money tips at instagram.com/Natalie Win Pace. And Win is spelled kind of weird. Let me show you. So here we have all of the little links, right? So if you click over to Instagram, you're going to see WYNNE. And I do have a channel there where I do post daily money tips. It shows up on your mobile phone app. All right, I will see you tomorrow with day 18. Thank you.